Okay, in this video I'm going to show a strategy called Alligator Alley, and this strategy is to get swing trades, and we're going to be able to do this mostly on a daily chart, even though it could work real good on a 4-hour chart. And I'm going to show how to apply it to binaries instead of just a regular spot trade here. So the optimal pairs, you could trade all the pairs. The chart time daily chart frame is the daily chart. We're going to use the indicators, the Bollinger Band and stochastics, and we're going to use 2 sets of the Bollinger Bands. And then we're going to hit our target. Okay, our initial target is going to be the 20 smooth moving average, and our second target is going to be the 1.5 band. And we're going to place a stop. That's if you're trading in a spot. If you're trading in binaries, we won't have a stop since we're limited to the premium that we're trading. The maximum risk is the premium, so we don't need a stop. That's why I like this strategy particularly well with binaries. Okay, so let's go to a chart here. And first thing, you open up a chart. Then you right click here, and we could go to properties. And under the color tab, I like changing the background to white. And then if we right click again and we go to properties and we go to common, I'll take the auto scroll, I'll put candlesticks here. Okay, and you can see it'll be traded this way. So you do all that by right clicking, going to properties, and you can see candlesticks. We can also take the chart shift off to be able to go back on this trade here. Now the first set of indicators, okay, you can see that on the MetaTrader, if you go to the Navigator section, if you happen to lose it, you just have to go to View, Navigator, and there's 2 sets of indicators. There's the indicators, and then there's the custom indicators. Okay, so we'll go to the indicators, and you can see right here the stochastics. There's a stochastics oscillator, or you can go into the custom indicators and just use the regular stochastics. For this one, we could use just the regular stochastics, and that's under the custom indicator section. And then the K period, okay, you go back to your parameters. It's going to be a 15, 3, and 3. And then in your levels, which is the overbought and oversold level, I like using the 80 and 20. So when I go OK, now I have my indicator set this way. Okay, now the second indicator that we can use, again, you go into the custom indicators, and I like the bands as for the Bollinger Bands. And right here we can adjust the period under the inputs tab right here. So you just switch over to inputs, and we'll put 14, and the deviation we'll put 2.5. Now I'll change the colors so I'll know that this is the 2.5. So I'm just going to place them. The 2.5, we'll place it all black, for example. And we go OK. And now we have on our chart the 2.5. This is the 2.5 deviation to the top side. And this is the 2.5 deviation to the bottom side. And then we have the moving average in the middle, which is going to be awfully close to a 20 smooth moving average. Now we're going to load another set of bands. So let's just double click right here, a double set of bands, and let's put these, let's say red. Okay, and I'm going to put red. Let's do a little more red right here. And this one we're going to use on the inputs 14, and we're going to use a 1.5 deviation band. Okay, make sure you're using the bands that allows you to put the half deviations on there. Now when you click it right here, you can see how it loads the 1.5 deviation band, and right here it loads the 1.5 deviation band. Okay, now how do we trade this strategy? Okay, we could first, right here where it says templates, or we can go insert, we can go to chart, template, and we can go to save template. Okay, and let's call this Alligator Alley. Okay, and we can click save, and what that allows is if we open up another chart, for example, let's say the pound versus the dollar, or the Australian versus the US dollar here, and we click with the Alligator Alley here, we already have it saved here. Okay, now how does this strategy work? Let's go back, say, to the euro, and we'll load this strategy right here. We'll go to Alligator Alley and we'll load it. Now what we look for is whenever it touches any of the extreme bands, and this is a retracement strategy here, so whenever it touches one of these extreme bands, for example right here, okay, now that's the 2.5 band. Now we look for a bearish close below the 1.5 band, so a bear candle close. So for example right here that it touched, and then we got this bear close. Okay, that would be where our entry point. Now in this case, you can see how it did pull back, and then it started going our way right here. Or for example right here, we got real close to touching a bearish, and then we got a bullish close inside of the 2.5 band, or we got right here, we got the bullish close. So this could be our entry candle, and then we had our nice move to the upside. Okay, now you can see that this works on all time frames, especially if you lower this to a 4-hour. It could also work, but the daily is the top. This could also work obviously on a weekly strategy here, but I recommend using it on a daily chart. Now whenever you touch this band and you get a bear close here, the market tends to want to go back initially to the midline right here, which is the 20 moving average, smooth moving average, and then the second target is the 1.5 extreme band here. Okay, so what this allows us is to be able to take trades in that direction. Okay, we can do it with binaries. Okay, so for example, let's open up a demo on a binary. We can go to traderschoiceoptions.com. We can go right here to open up a demo. Okay, let's put my name here, and I'm just going to put an email. Okay, and then we can put a phone number here. Okay, and we're going to get a free demo. Okay, and now you can see how it says to complete this, we could sign up for a demo. Let's put username, same one as my email, and let's check. Okay, that means nobody else has it. I could put my name, last name, we'll put the phone number, and then we'll put the email. Okay, and we'll say apply for demo. And this takes a couple seconds here. Okay, and once we go, we should go to our inbox. Okay, and it says help with your new demo. We got an email here. Okay, it says to start learning. There's a nice education link there. Okay, but we should be getting another email from. Okay, I think it sent that you already hit. It's only available for one client. So let's actually just go into a live account there. But to open up a demo, it only allows you one per customer. But we could go right here and we'll go into a live account here and let's see. For example, right here we look at the euro and the weekly. Okay, and the neat thing about this is if we do get a sell signal, okay, we know that roughly we're going to pull back to the 130.60 area. Okay, and especially if you get this signal early in the week, we can place the weeklies, which is the ones that I like, and we can take this trade back to this area. Right, especially here, if you just trade this, let's say we would have got the bear candle right here. We can start finding strikes and start playing this to the downside because we know the trend for the next days is going to be to the downside. Now you also want, as a confirmation, the stochastics. Okay, you want it to be in the over. Obviously, to take a trade to the downside, we want an oversold trade here, and to take it to the upside, we want it a buy right here. Okay, so for example, let's look at the dollar yen pair here, and let's put the Alligator Alley. Okay, and we actually had a real nice signal on the Alligator Alley to the upside here. That's why I sent the alert this week. You can see how we touched the bottom band and then we closed up here. So this week we know that we're going to get a move to the upside. So I actually sent out an alert to buy the dollar yen, and you can see the midline is 99.86 and the top is 102. So we're heading in the direction. The nice thing with the binary is that our risk is limited, and I believe we bought this at around $36 per contract, and if it expires on the top side, it'll pay out 100. So our profit is the difference from 36 to 100. But this is a real neat strategy. You can see perfect Alligator Alley signal right here. We had a touch of the bottom, then we had a bull close above. So this is your entry signal, and your first target is going to be this midline, and your second target is going to be the 1.5 band. Okay, let's see if we can find a couple more examples here on the alligator strategy. So you want to see it touch and then confirm closing above here. So it's a real strong signal. For example, this one touched and closed, but right when it closed, it already got in. Didn't give you any time to get into that trade, since it already had touched the first target and the second target. Now right here you can see how it touched the outer band, and then this was your bear close right here. So you could have gotten in right here. It actually went against you a little, then pulled down, hit the first initial target, which is the 1.5 band, the 20 smooth moving average, and then went down to your outer band. And you're going to be several days in this trade here. So this was about a 100 pip move to the downside. Now if you're going to do it with binaries, you initially want the signal to be on a Sunday or Monday to have the whole week to run your way. If not, you can just play it as a regular Forex trade that you would, if you enter right here, your stop loss is going to be below this low right here. Okay, so you're going to swing trade this, but it's an extremely high probable setup. in this case, you're talking about, it's fairly large. It's a fairly large stop, but you're going to make 130 and about 380 pips with a very high probability setup here. So this is a good strategy, especially if we're going to do it for binary. So we got a nice binary trade here on the Alligator Alley on the dollar yen here. Let's go look at a couple chart. And this nice thing, this doesn't take you a lot of time, so you can do this at the night when you get home from work. For example, this one right here, you can see how we touched the top band, and until right here we didn't get the close below it. Now we knew we were going to head to the downside, and we had a nice move. We had 2 days up, then we had a day down, another day down, we pulled back again, but the trend was heading to the downside here. Right here you can see how we just touched, okay, and we had a bull close right here. So we have an Alligator Alley to the upside right here. So this is a good strong trade to the upside on the Alligator Alley. Now, an additional indicator that you can add this to really get nice is adding the 233 exponential, and you can do this applied to the close moving average here. Okay, because the market, obviously, if you're taking in a trend in the direction of the market, obviously it's a higher trade here, even though it's not necessary for this strategy since it's a retracement strategy in the market there. Okay, I like using it a lot with our Moe strategy. Okay, so for example, let's go back to the dollar yen, and I just want to show here, and let me put here. Okay, so for example here, we have a nice Alligator Alley, but if I go, so I know my bias, and this is the way you could mix it with a shorter term trader if you're not a swing trader. So my bias is to the upside here, seeing that we have an Alligator Alley to the upside. Now, if I load my trading strategy here and I go down to any time frame, I can enter with a Moe breakout, for example, and I did this. You can see this last night. This was a 15-minute chart, and we had a nice Moe breakout right here. It broke the 233, and we rolled this all the way to the upside. Then we had a pullback to the 21, had another entry on a 50-minute, nice trade. We had another Moe entry right here. It pulled back, hit the 20, the 55 moving average, and now we had another entry right here, and we're heading to the upside. So you can be capturing pips. I mean, this first trade did about 90. This trade, in you can see on 2 candles, you're up 40 pips here on 2 candles, which is 50-minute candles. And now, if you entered right here, you're up another, say, 20 pips on this trade. Okay, so for example, let's look at the euro. Okay, and the euro is touched right here, and it's right about to say it wants to pull down to the bottom side, to the downside here. Now, what I do here, you can wait for the entry signal here on the euro dollar to the downside with the bear candle, or you can load your moving averages here. Okay, and say we go down to a 4-hour, you go down to your 1 hour, and you go down to your 15-minute chart, and I'm pretty sure we're going to get a Moe breakout down to the downside here. So if I I'm more biased to the downside right now, being at the top. If I can get a break of this to the downside, we could have a real nice bearish trade here. Okay, so there's a way you could combine the Alligator Alley if you're not a swing trader, and even if you are a swing trader, you can combine and have short-term trades with the longer-term trades here. So whenever you're touching one of these bands, okay, and you got that bull close inside of this daily candle on this up move, there's going to be plenty of Moes on the shorter time frames here. I mean, this is a 90 pip move, even this small candle to the top side with 64 pips. If you got into any 15-minute candle, you definitely have a lot of short term. Just like this trade right here, if you know the bias is to the downside due to the strategy, you're going to have plenty of short-term trades to the downside here. Okay, so in the next video, I'll cover another trending strategy. This is actually a retracement strategy, and we'll look at some trending strategies for swing trades and how to mix them in with shorter term trades.